In this example, we are going to be creating or finding the best viewing window for this function that we are given. So in this case, we're going to be playing around with that actual window setting on the graphing calculator. So I'm given the function y equals x squared plus 40. So I'll go ahead and enter that. So we get x squared plus 40. My calculator is currently set to the standard viewing window, which is negative to positive 10 for both x and y. So if I hit graph, I don't see anything. This is not going to be a window that works. So we need to find a window that does work for us. If you notice here, all four of the choices have x is going from negative to positive 6. So it's really just the y's that we need to figure out. So I'm going to press the window button, and then I'm going to enter -6. And notice I'm using this button here to the left of enter. I'm not using the minus button, but the negative button. If you use the minus button, the graphing calculator will give you an error. So just be mindful of that. Now, the -10 to positive 10 was not showing anything on the y-axis. So I do need to expand this a bit. So choices B and C are going to probably be my best bets. I'll go ahead and start with choice B. That's a little bit of a smaller range of values there. So the y's go from 0 to 40. So I went ahead and entered that in. And so now I'm going to hit graph again. Once again, I am not seeing my graph. So let me go back to the window. Since that didn't work, let me go back to choice C here, -5 and then positive 76. So my y-min is -5 and the y-max is positive 76. Hitting graph again, now I can see the image here. So it's going to be choice C. And it says, which one of these four pictures looks like what we have here on the screen? Again, choice C. And then it talks about a turning point. In my other video, I talked about how to find a turning point. In this case, looking at the graph from left to right, you can see it's going downhill, downhill, downhill. And then right here, it switches to where it starts going uphill. To find this, the way that I fall back on when using the graphing calculator is to press second calculate. In this case, my turning point was toward the bottom. We went down, down before we went up. So I'm looking at a minimum. So choose number 3. And it's going to ask me for a left and right boundary. So I'm going to go a little bit to the left of that point. And then a little bit to the right of that point. And then it asks me for a guess. Here's my guess. And then it's giving me my answer. So I mentioned this on my other video. I've got this crazy answer right here. This is actually in scientific notation. This is -8.767 times 10 to the -7th. So what this is actually giving me for the x value is -0.000000876. That's a whole bunch of zeros after the decimal point. For our intents and purposes, this x value is a 0. So the turning point here would be the point 0, 40.